Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. I would like to say that if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Help the channel out, help the channel grow. I will try to do these at least once a month, if not a few times a week, just because a lot of topics are interesting me. And if you guys want to hear my opinion, then you do. If you don't, you don't. That's okay. And we're going to start off this first video with a very interesting and specific topic that I believe that a lot of people will be interested in and want to hear not only my opinion but a multitude of people's opinions on. So let's just jump right into it. So today, September 23rd, 2025, Patrick Bet-David released a podcast with the one and only Nick Fuentes. Okay, a little background knowledge that I had about Nick is that he's from Chicagoland area. It's very controversial. People label him as a racist, as a narcissist, and all these other things. I never researched into the guy deeply. Do I agree with what he says? No. Do does he make good points? Yes. Do I agree with some of the things he say? Yes. But at the same time, you gotta take it each subject as a subject. You can't pile it all in one and just say this is who he is, especially since he's been putting out social media and videos since he was about 17, 18 years old. Okay, so he has a lot of videos out there. He's done a lot of growing up. He's done a lot of maturing and all those things. So take it as you want. Take it as is. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just gonna jump right into it and tell you what I learned from the podcast, my takeaways. Then I got a few questions I'm gonna ask myself and answer myself. But those same questions, I would like to hear from you, and I'll have those down in the description below. So a little bit about Nick. He said that he grew up outside of Chicago, and then the first book he ever read was Free to Choose by Milton Friedman. Okay, and then he said that he also got introduced into the political environment and economic environment by one of his friends who told him that he needs to look up Thomas Sowell, um, and he watched the whole video and consumed all of it regarding the private sector and the economy and all. Okay, so now moving on to a little bit later point in his life. Um, Also, before we move on, Nick said while he's growing up in Chicago, he thought it was normal that every city looked like that every city acted like that every city was Catholic. He thought that was just normal city things. Okay, but now jumping forward in some time, um, he went to college in Boston. He stated that he spoke to a lot of his college friends about the ideas he was having and the ideas that they were having, especially since they were all subscribing to the Republican Party at that point in time. Um, this was about 2016-ish time period. He said that he subscribed to Trump and that he loved that Trump was America first, but he wasn't fully on board with Trump and all of his policies and ideas that he was pushing. Now, Nick had Jewish, Assyrian, Iranian, all these other different cultures and people as mentors in a way, and as people to bounce ideas off of, and people that he would converse with back and forth about what he thought and about what he believes in. And um, as far as I know, same with them. Okay, now moving on just a little bit further along in his life, he he said that he did support Obama on not vetoing the West Banks. Um, and I just spoke on this. He fell in love with Trump, saying America first. That was one of his big things that he loved that Trump was saying America first, just because he felt that America hasn't had leadership in the presidency or in other powerful offices that were preaching that. Then um, through friends and through other means, he basically got excommunicated from his friends or close colleagues, I guess he would describe them at that period of time, due to the Daily Wire and bad publicity and um, clips of videos that were coming out. One specific one was when he was secretly recorded by a young woman when they were staying up till 3 a.m. and she asked, "Would me having sex um, with the black man be the same as a dog?" Something like that. I'm sure I'm paraphrasing it. And he said, "No, of course not, but they're both are degenerates." Okay. So now with that comment, right, jumping into what are my takeaways. My takeaways are Nick is a genuine guy. He made a lot of comments when he was young. He was and is hungry to help make a change in the world, in America. He believes in the history that he has studied of America, that there are certain staples of America that should stay. Um, I don't think he's a bad guy. He didn't preach for violence. He, in this podcast specifically, did not preach for violence. He did not preach for anybody to get hurt, or he didn't flatly be racist and things of that nature. And he actually said, when that woman recorded him and PBD challenged him on that, he actually stated, yes, that is racist. Like, it is what it is at that point. And he didn't excuse anything that he said. PBD did supplement the comment and other comments by saying if people were recording him when he was 18 in the army and other people um, that are 46 and older, that they would be in a lot more trouble nowadays. But since they didn't have social media growing up, and while Nick was a young man and teenager growing up in America and social media was around, that anything that you do say can come back and haunt you. Um, so just my takeaways about the whole podcast. I think it was awesome. I think it was great. I think it was it shows how dynamic of a interviewer PBD is. It shows how dynamic of a person Nick Fuentes is, even though people try to just lump him into a very static position. It was great to hear a little bit more about Nick Fuentes' ideas and past and background and how he became Nick Fuentes and why why him? Why did he get all this publicity and all of this acknowledgement from all these other people in the political, um, social media, and news outlets? Now moving on, what questions do I want PBD to ask? I wish he asked him a little bit more about the Candace Owens um, relationship between Nick and Candace, how that is now, especially since he recently went on her podcast, and what Nick really thought about, um, deeply thought about the Republican Party at this period of time and the Democratic Party at this period of time. Granted, I know it's not a 3, 4, or 5 hour long podcast. These are just questions I wish were asked. So, what he truly believed, which where each party is at, his relationship with Candace, where he thinks the United States is going in the future, how he believes the United States should operate in the future, short term and long term, and who he believes could be the next president. Just the top 3, who he believes could be the next president. And I wish he challenged him a little bit more on if he chose to run for office, where would he choose to run for office? Would he choose to run for the presidency? Would he choose for governor? Would he choose for mayor? Would he choose for representative? Would he choose for senate? Those kind of things, just challenge him a little bit more, try to get a little bit more in-depth answer, and then have some follow-up questions to him. Um, Now my trust, now since it's my first video, I want to state that my trust in PBD podcast and my trust in the information that was given to us through this podcast is pretty trustworthy. Okay, they backtrack a lot of the information. They try to pull up a lot of stuff on live. So I say my trust is fairly high when it comes to this podcast. Do I always agree? No, but that's okay. With the stuff that's not being backed. So just like comments made or someone's opinion, things of that nature. Do I always agree? No. But relatively, the information that they are covering and the conclusions that they come to, I would say are pretty trustworthy. What are my thoughts on PBD? I think Patrick Bet-David, from all the things I've learned, from all the things I've seen, is a great. I'm sure he's a great dad, a great leader, not only at the home but also in business. He is well respected by many business owners and by political leaders and leaders of the world. He is also striving to build himself up even more than he has. He is trying to build the next generation of people. And he's a Christ-fearing man. And I think that's the most important thing about him. That he believes in God. He believes in Jesus Christ. And he has fear of God and of Jesus Christ. My thoughts on Nick Fuentes. I think, I believe, like I've said multiple times, he just got caught up in the social media landscape. He believed what he believed in those periods of time. He believes in freedom of speech, so he said what he wanted to say, even though it was controversial. Nick doesn't have a bad heart. I think he's a good dude. Honestly. I grew up by Chicago, grew up in the same areas. I know where he's coming from. As in, I know people like him. As in, I don't hate those people. I would love to talk to him, talk to those people that I do know, and have known for a long time, just their genuine opinions on things, and um, politics, racial, sports, like everything, right? And I think Nick is heading in a bright future. I think he believes what PBD preaches. The future is bright, and I think he will be a part of that future politically for the United States of America, whether that's in a Tucker Carlson role or he's in the late Charlie Kirk's role, or he's gunning for office. But only time will tell. I believe Nick is a good dude. He's learning, he's maturing, and he's growing up before your eyes. And I say just because a child made mistakes, or a young man, young woman, whoever, have made mistakes in their past, you shouldn't hold it that closely to them if they show growth, if they show maturity, and they show willingness to strive to be better and to improve themselves. Nick is also a Christian man. He's a Catholic, and he believes in God, and he um, said that multiple times on the podcast as well. Now, my thoughts and opinions on where I believe the United States of America is heading. I believe we are heading into a bright future. I'm very, very high on the next generation. I believe the next generation will be very capable of not only making the world a safer place, but a more economically rich place, not only for America, but for everyone in the world. And I believe that democracy will continue to thrive, survive, and influence the world in a more democratic non-negotiable way. Now, who will be the next president? Only time will tell. I'm still getting very used to some of these names and some of these policies being pushed and all the things that regard that. Um, do I think our short-term future looks bright? Yes. Yes, I do. And do I think our long-term, as in 5 to 10 years, future looks bright? Yes. Yes, I do. A lot of young people, including myself, I'm only 25 years old, are trying to improve not only the United States, but ourselves, our health, the people around us, and we want the world to be a peaceful place. And I believe that would be the greatest struggle, is creating a peaceful place for the world. Today, those are my thoughts. Those are my opinions. Once again, it's September 23rd, 2025. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, what you guys want to say. And please subscribe. Tune in next time for the next video. I plan on doing more videos like this, covering more podcasts, reactions, and or just making videos of myself about what I think is interesting or what's happening in the world and things of that nature. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope to see you next time, and goodbye.